All right, all right. Here we are. We are live. Welcome to all of those tuning in on the replay, or on the YouTube video replay, or all y'all coming in live soon. Welcome. How you doing, Jen?
I am great, Chris. How are you? So great to be here.
I know it's great to have you. It's exciting. We are doing a lot of new things, and I'm excited to bring you in on a lot of these things too. I love your energy, so this is gonna be a nice fun little warm up for us.
Absolutely. And if you can't tell, I am bursting with energy. And I want to say later, I don't use metaphors, but I am. I really am.
And as we talk about wellness today, we're going to talk about standard, and um, your standard is so important because I used to be in these positions in life where I go like, a lot of entrepreneurial things. Welcome everybody to the room. Samantha, how are you? Let us know where you're from. But I hear from Austin. And where are you at, Jen? Let's do that.
I am in Middle Tennessee. So yeah, good old Columbia. Love it.
So yeah, well, we were talking about how sometimes when your standard is not just to be excellent at all times, you're like, well, who's going to be at this event? Well, is this client really interested in working with me? Do I really want you judge every situation and then you deliver accordingly? Well, that's no fun. But if you're like, yo, everything that's coming, everything that happens is exactly what I need, and this is going to be awesome, and someone's going to need to hear this message. There's one person out there that needs to hear this message, and that's how you end up speaking for millions of people, is that you speak with that same passion and sincerity at every time. So I love what you're bringing to the table, Jen.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. I'm beyond honored to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. So what's the weather like in Middle Tennessee right now?
For like the month of July, it was semi like drought, and now we're making up for it. It has been the rainiest few days, which is great. It just means less days I have to water. So
I like it.
I'll take it, right?
We got Anton in the room. Samantha, where are you from? Where are you tuning in from, Anton? And welcome. This is one of the best topics. We just got done. We just had Deepak Chopra at the ranch here last weekend.
I know. I heard. That's amazing.
It was quite special. It was a health and wellness event called Modern Nirvana, and I got to actually support our team over there. We held a lot of interviews. All this great new biotechnology that's coming out. Samantha from Granada. Welcome, Samantha. But all this new biotechnology that's coming out to help us optimize our energy and our thinking and our body. It's really just amazing what's out there right now.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Oh, wow.
We got Mark. Good to see you. All right.
Thank you, Anton. I saw that. I'm excited to be here. I'm so glad you guys were able to join. That's amazing. Thank you for the support.
Absolutely. Larry, you're welcome. All right, y'all, we're going to get started here in just another 2-3 minutes. The great thing is about this content is that the summer happens, right? But we're going to start putting out this content, really start repurposing it, getting these good little snippets of value, because it's great to have this weekly webinars where everybody comes and shows up. But it's also nice to get a little refresher in the social media feed. So we're going to make sure that we get some clips here so we can put them out to the community. And just another 60 seconds, we will get rolling, y'all. We'd like to start on time. I'd like to wait a couple more people. All right, so we got Jenn Donaldson here, and Jenn is going to rip it up today, y'all. Who knows Jenn? Put a 1 in the put a 1 if you know Jenn in the chat there. Give me a 1 if you know Jenn. All right, we should have some ones coming here. All right, there we go. Well, listen, let's get this thing rolling, because this is as much about the replay as it is the live. It's as much about y'all being here as it is everybody who hasn't come here yet. And so Jenn is just getting started, y'all. For y'all who don't know, Jenn Donaldson is one of our awesome Sales Mastery community members. And Sales Mastery is something we're real proud of here. It's the opportunity that you get to have one-on-one time with Rod Harrison, working with just a tremendous group of masterminds. And Jenn has been advancing up her career ladder. And we had a conversation. I said, Jenn, what's going on? How are you doing this? And she really is, it's a lot of balancing my life, balancing my health, balancing my family, balancing my wellness. And it just so happened that this is Wellness Month in Sales Mastery. So we decided to invite Jenn on to share some information with us about how to activate your master level. That is not the right one, but we are going to go boom. We're going to talk about our insights from Sales Mastery. Jenn Donaldson, National Sales Manager. A.O.Smith, National Account Sales Manager, rocking it with this new promotion. And she's going to be talking about 3 ways to create and sustain your ultimate performance state. Key insights from inside the Sales Mastery community. What does this mean? And Jenn's going to tell you a lot about this, but we always talk about our ultimate performance state, right? And how can you be there at all times? It is showing up. People always say, oh, well, at least you showed up. Well, listen, you can show up and it's not a good thing for anybody sometimes, right? You can show up and it's like, maybe you shouldn't have showed up. Maybe you should have stayed home. But when you show up with your standard every time, that's when things really start to happen for you. Jenn is a great example of that. So, Jenn, thank you so much for being here. And I appreciate you starting one of many of your opportunities to speak here to our mastery community. And love the topic you picked today. So welcome and tell us what you got for us.
Yes, thank you, Chris, and welcome everyone. And thank you, Chris, for having me. You know, I mentioned this earlier, but I am so honored to be here and to be a part of this and be a part of NASP as well, to kind of help, bring what I'm learning in this program and stuff. But as Chris mentioned, I'm Jenn Donaldson. I am the National Account Sales Manager for A.O.Smith, and I've been in Mastery now since, March of 2020, right? So it's been a minute.
Can you say that again?
Oh, which part? The that I've been in Mastery or National Accounts?
What's your title now?
It is a National Accounts Sales Manager for A.O.Smith. Yes.
Yeah. Let's see that smile.
Yep. And I have been in Mastery since March of 2020, right? So it's been a little bit. I've been now in, been a year and a half, I guess. So I know some of you have put in the chats that, where you're joining from. I'm in Middle Tennessee, so I'd love to see if you've not yet put in there where you're joining us from, please pop that in there. I always like to see. We've got several from around the world, which is amazing. And Chris, I'm not seeing the slide. There it is. Perfect. And so as Chris mentioned in Mastery, right, this is Wellness Month. And today, I wanted to kind of share those 3 ways that we create and sustain our ultimate performance state, right? And these are techniques that I use and I practice every single day, and they help me up-level my life in numerous ways, including landing this national sales position, right? So by the end of this webinar, my goal and my hope is that you will understand why, wellness is so important to the foundation of our sales game, right? And what those 3 ways are that, to consistently perform at the top of our game, right? So essentially, advance here. Everything starts with wellness, right? And wellness is all encompassing. It's not just the physical, but it's emotional and mental too, right? It's the thoughts we think, it's how we interpret reality, it's how we function on both a psychological and a physical level. Right. And so there was this article in Selling Power magazine that I read recently around mindset and how important that is to our sales growth. And they mention in there that the mindset of the bottom 20% of reps is focused on survival, right? And that's essentially a base level of production to stay afloat. And the middle 60%, they're focused on just meeting quota. And the top 20% of reps are focused on the mastery of their craft, right? These are the people that embrace that high performance mindset that sets them up to win consistently. So whether you're in sales or you're a professional athlete or you're in the corporate world or corporate executive, we can't function or expect to function at our highest level without wellness, right? So simply put, and actually this was stated by one of our mastery members just this week, that our number one asset is our body. And if we take care of it, it will take care of us, right? And I thought that was absolutely beautiful. And so to be outstanding, right? And to generate that continuity in our performance and maintain that high level that comes from creating the right belief, right? And that belief comes from our attitude and our emotional state. And if you think about it, right, every trigger, every trigger can take us down a rabbit hole unless we learn to control our emotional state. And I know you're thinking, that's great, Jenn, but how do we do this, right? So, how do we learn to do this? Well, it's really learning how to build our mental muscle, right? And that has a lot to do with belief and engaging our imagination, right? So, the elements of emotional state, and that's what I'm planning to cover today, is number one is focus, right? We attach a meaning to everything we see, hear, and experience, right? But understand everything that we see, hear, and experience has no meaning except for the meaning we give it, right? So what are you focused on, right? Are you coming from a neutral place? And the beauty of it is it's our choice. So I want to give you an example to kind of put this into some context here. Say I'm giving this presentation, right? And I know we're live, but we're live on sort of a webinar. But let's say I'm in a room, live person, like we used to do back in the days before COVID, pretty regularly. Say there's 100 people out there, right, in the audience. And I am finished speaking, and everyone claps. And hey, I'm going to say I even got a few people standing, right? I got some standing ovations, right? Well, now I'm packing up. I'm ready to head out. That one person comes up to me and they say, Jenn, I did not resonate with anything you had to say. In fact, I thought it was pretty bad. And I didn't agree. I didn't agree with anything you had to say. Well, so I have two choices at this moment, right? Obviously, first, hey, thank you for the feedback, right? But I could walk away from that encounter and that feedback, and I could really feel horrible about myself, and I could be all down and depressed. And unfortunately, that's what so many of us do, right? And so and is we sort of just focus on that one person. But the reality is there were 99 other people who loved it, even some who really loved it and gave me a standing ovation, right? But so learning to focus on those right things instead. And when we focus on the good and the positive, right, that is what we generate and we generate more of, essentially. And we have that proper focus. That's when we show up strong, right? So am I seeing the glass half full, or am I seeing the glass half empty, right? And I'm not saying that feedback's not important, right? Because of course it is, but how are you letting that affect you? And how are you seeing that reality, right?
Hey, Jenn, I love that. I just want to add something to that real quick. We always talk about the way you tell your story, right? What story are you telling? And I think, oftentimes one thing goes wrong and we tell the story of that's the end. This is the end. This is the failure. This is no. All I was looking for was this one thing, and it didn't go right, right? And all of a sudden the story ends there. And I think when you focus on that moment, that's where you're lost, right? Because you're focused on the end of that moment. But when you focus on the result happening, no matter what, that little thing that happened was just, oh, this is a part of the journey. It allows you to see it in a different way. And I think, I never thought of it in the way that I'm focused. What am I focused on in that moment? I'm focusing on the thing that ended, or am I focusing on where I end, where I choose to stop? And I think that's a beautiful reminder. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's 100% right. And so just learning is that simple shift. It's just that simple shift. So the second element of our emotional state is, our self-talk, right? So really paying attention, to what we say to ourselves, and more importantly, what are we asking of ourselves? What are the type of questions do you ask yourself when that sales meeting didn't go as planned, or things are just not quite, turning out as you intended them to be? Are you asking questions like, why me? Or how am I going to use this? Or are you asking questions like, why do I have to do this? Or how or what can I learn from this? Or, and this one's a big one for me, or used to be several years back, but why does everything go wrong? Or why does everything seem to go wrong? Or are you asking, how do I open my mind to even more possibility? Right? So learning to exercise our mental muscle by, asking those great questions. That greatly enhances the quality of our life. So I would love to know, which types of questions are you asking yourself? Put it in the chat. Are they why questions, or are they how or what questions? Right? And so, definitely pop that in there, and pay attention too, right? I'm not a big metaphor person, but pay attention to those metaphors that you use. There's a common one that was like, I can't believe they stabbed me in my back. Really? Did they stab you? Is it literal? Because where's the knife? Right? So why say it? Because there's no knife back there. They didn't. There's absolutely, all it does is evoke negative energy and a negative state. So don't say it, right? But if you are going to use metaphors, I do recommend using ones that work for you, right? Like if you need an example, and I think I used this one earlier when I told it, I'm bursting with joy, right? Which I most absolutely certainly am right now.
Hey, Jen, I love that. I want to say one thing too. I love how you said ask yourself the questions, and almost like this is like self-conversation, right? Because have you ever been in this conversation where somebody asks you a question before you even answer? They already start talking and telling you why they asked you the question and everything else. So I think it's important for us to remember, ask the question, but take the time to answer it honestly and be introspective about your answer and really listen to your answer, because that's where the real proof and the value comes in, is when you really take the time to go through the exercise and have that conversation. So awesome questions, Jen. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I know some of you are thinking, well, okay, well, how do we counter this inner critic of ourselves, right? It's, affirmations are for your emotional state. They help to override your inner critic. And there's 4 powerful ways, right, that we can create those positive statements. And the first way is I am. And arguably, these are probably the 2 most powerful words in the human language, because they're identity based, right? I must, I will, right? And that allows us to take responsibility. And I can, and that allows for possibility, right? But we must do the mental work, right? It's just like going to the gym, right? I couldn't deadlift 185 pounds the first time I went to the gym. I'm not a big person. There was no way, but I did the work. I created the habit. I went to the gym every week for several times a day, or several times in the week, I guess, a couple of days a week. And I just continuously did the work, and I added weight. And of course, now I can, right? But the process is the same, right? We have to practice that mental workout, because the key is awareness. And it's also, interrupting ourselves when we start to notice that self-talk is not where it needs to be, and it's not really serving us, right? But the one thing I want to stress is that it's not an overnight fix. It's a daily practice. And I know everyone wants this magic pill, right? And do I want the blue pill or the red pill? And they just want to pop it. And I reference movies, by the way. And so the thing is that this magic pill, they wanted to take it and be like, okay, I'm going to take this pill. I'm going to be the best version of myself today and every day going forward. Well, the problem is there is no pill like that. But if you want to look at it that way, this process is a magic pill, but it's a pill you take every day, right? So, but I promise you, if you apply it and you practice every single day, it will have profound effects on your results. Absolutely profound effect on your results, right? So the third element of our emotional state is physiology, right? We are creatures of biochemistry. And so what we put into our body impacts our emotions. It impacts our health. It impacts our body, right? From the foods we eat to how we move to how we stand. It affects everything, right? Everything affects us. So how are you preparing before a sales meeting or a sales presentation? Are you drinking water, right? What foods do you eat right before? What's your movement like? Do you have any power moves, or do you listen to any music, whether it's in your head if you're around others, or is it out loud if you've got that luxury to pump up the music? And I'll tell you, here's what mine is. So even just, it doesn't matter what I'm getting ready for. If I'm getting ready for a meeting or a presentation such as this, I tend to, I stay away from those carbonated sugary drinks. Just me, that's me. I'm, very high protein based. And I have my power move, and I love my music too. Like just before this webinar, I was cranking my music, and that helps to get us in that state, right? It helps us to get us ready. And I'm going to tell you, my power move is the Superwoman pose. Right, that is my power move. That is what I'll do before any meeting or anything I need to do, and I'll do the Superwoman pose. And I'll tell you why. And this is something I adopted years ago. But there was a study done by Harvard several years back that, when we introduce a radical change in our body is saying, whoa, okay, all right, we've got to get ready. Like, she just did something and now we're going to get ready for it, right? And so they did a study around and work on power postures. And so if you stand, right, with your hands on your hips and your shoulders are back, your airway is open, and you breathe fully for 2 minutes, right? Set your watch, set your timer, 2 minutes, right, on your hip. What happens is you'll find, or they found on the study, is after 2 minutes, the testosterone that gets released in our bloodstream, that increases by 33%. And it also reduces our cortisol, which is that stress hormone, right, by 25%. And that leaves us 33% more likely to take action. So, from this position, if you're feeling a little unmotivated, get into that power position, get into that for 2 minutes. And from that position, you're going to want to make a move. You're going to feel strong. And so when you change your body first, then you can change your mind faster. So I want to know in the chat, what is your power move? Do you have one? Because if you don't, I highly recommend that you get one. Adopt this one, take mine, take this one. It doesn't matter. But also, what's your routine like? When you get ready for meetings, if you got them, I'd love to see what you've got, and maybe there's something there I can adopt too, right? So definitely, think about that, and that's why mine is the Superwoman pose. So, but essentially, what is your posture like, right? When you're showing up, is your head up? Is your shoulders back? Right? Because understand, your physiology changes your psychology, right? And that's everything that we're talking about here. So if you're slumped over and your head's down, your airway's cut off, you're going to get down. You're going to get depressed, right? So stand up, open that airway, right? Posture matters, and it really helps to create that chemistry that's, in our body to support that mental state that we really want to operate in and operate from, right? So essentially, I want to kind of summarize here a little bit. Is we create our emotional state so we can let our energy guide the way. Right? That is our ultimate performance. And it's practice, 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 right? Stay aware. And when you notice that you're not in your ultimate performance state, right? Correct what needs to be corrected and bounce back, right? That's the beauty of it. That's where the beauty lies. And one of the most important messages I can't stress enough about mastery is that mastery is repetition. Right? It's repetition of principles. It's repetition of concepts. We're fine tuning, right? And remember, I mentioned it's not one and done. It's applying what we learn to our everyday practice, right? That's so we can become the best version of ourselves every day, right? And so, to recap the elements of emotional state, focus. What are you focusing on? What's your self-talk like? What questions are you asking yourself? And then, your physiology, how are you showing up, right? And essentially, I like to close with this, because mastery is the audacity of creating the life I want, because I already possess all the resources from within. And our mastery mastermind really helps us learn to apply this concept so we continue to take ourselves to that next level, right? We are that 20%. We are that top 20%. And mastery holds us accountable for doing the mental work. I want to say that again. Mastery holds us accountable for doing the mental work, right? So if you are interested and this resonated with you, you could stand up at home. But if you want to be that 20%, I invite you to join me in Sales Mastery, right? And meet the rest of the wonderful members of our team that put this and other principles that we learn throughout the year into practice, right? But I want to honor each one of you and thank you so much for showing up today and on the replay and taking that first step towards your mastery and up-leveling your sales and your life. Thank you.
Love it, Jen. Absolutely love it. I got a question for you. So do you have any, so this is a great in general, right? The focus and self-talk, but do you have any practices that you use like on a daily basis that help put these pieces to work? Like, let's say it's time to make some sales calls or you got a big bear day ahead of you. Are there any things that you put into your day that help you like maybe realign with this mindset or other than just the power move? Did you break up your days at all? Like, you know, how do you do this?
Well, so one of the key things too is I absolutely listen to my body, right? Like if I need a mental break, I'm taking a mental break. I will walk away for that 5 minutes or that 10 minutes. I'll take a walk outside or something because that's very important to listen to our bodies. But I'll tell you, when I am not feeling motivated, when I'm like, ugh, I'm really dreading doing that, it's that I have trained myself now, that self-talk that basically says, no, we're going to do this. We're no, there's no excuses. And essentially, I also look back at my why, right? And there's this formula, Y is greater than X, which means my purpose is greater than my excuses, right? My why is greater than my X. So absolutely, yeah. And that's something that if you can create that interrupt ahead of time. So when you get to that place of demotivation, stand up, change that body, right? Because then we change our body first, our mind changes faster, and then that will help to energize. So that's kind of what I do. I have those little interrupts in place and going, nope, we're doing this. This is what we got. We're doing this. And it's encouragement. It's that self-encouragement. There is no beating myself up. There is only encouragement. So I can't stress that enough too.
Be your best cheerleader, y'all. Not your best judge of character or your best critic. Be your best cheerleader. You're enough of the other ones. I love that, Jen. And I really love what you said too about the affirmations and asking yourself questions. Like, saying an affirmation is, I'm gonna be awesome today. That's one thing, right? But asking myself, hey, am I gonna be awesome today? And then answering with, damn straight I am. I am gonna be awesome today. Like it's taking a choice when you take the time to answer the question. So really love it, Jen. Thank you so much. Listen, y'all, if you're not in mastery already, you know how to get there. Reach out to one of us. CPSP is the first step for you. The first step is if you haven't taken the CPSP, take the CPSP. This is how you get invited to mastery. Once you've taken the CPSP, you're then allowed and invited to join mastery. And the great thing is we have special going for $1 for your first month. If you want to know more about that, speak to your advisor on your call. Sign up for CPSP today and join this amazing community of accountability and raising our standards. Look at the smile on her face. How could you not want to be here? Awesome.
I have fun, Chris. I absolutely have fun. And that's part of it, right? Let's just have fun along the way. And that's what makes it beautiful.
I agree. Let's be healthy and have fun along the way, y'all. And watch the wallet get bigger and the sales goals go higher and the promotions come. All those things they're the rewards, they're the cherry on the cake. Let's enjoy the cake. Jen, thank you so much. Love you, appreciate you. Y'all going to get a lot more of us coming up very soon. You're going to see a lot more of Jen. I promise you that. Take care, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.